Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new subject today, the origins of humanity. So, before we start, I'd like to thank all of you that are following the channel. I know I'm not doing hundreds of thousands of views, but I appreciate, the short community we have, the people that are following me, and the friends I know that are following me. Um, and I appreciate that. I know we've been covering different subjects from the five proofs of God's existence or creation, the roots of racism, the comparative analysis of the French and American Revolution. We've been also looking at the Asian Revolution, and now, I want to tackle this subject that I wanted to do for quite some time: the origins of humanity. I wanted to initially I thought about this to be a focus on the Sumerian civilization and the Anunnaki, the legendary extraterrestrial race. But I thought it would be much more inclusive to talk about the origins of humanity. And so this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do actually is to to embark on the fascinating journey through time, challenging the conventional wisdom about our past. For centuries, and also from the very beginning of our existence, we've been presented at school with a linear narrative of human evolution. Okay. But is this the whole story? In this series, we'll explore alternative perspectives and examine evidence that might suggest a more complex tale to our origins. Okay, we've been told about Homo Australopithecus, the view of the evolution towards Homo habilis, then Homo erectus, then we evolved to certain, different branch of the human evolution with Neanderthal, and then the Homo sapiens and sapiens sapiens. That would be roughly the approach, but there's been so many discovery of hominids and also early humans dating back millions of years in the past, something like between 3 and 4 million years in the past. But the goal is there are some explanation that are not quite correct and not driving a constant evolution that makes some sense. So we're not here to provide definitive answers, but rather to encourage critical thinking and open-minded exploration. Our goal is to question the official narrative and examine what we can say today about our common history that may differ actually from from what we've been taught in schools. Now that you can see my screen, I'm from the telecom industry, so I love to do presentation. Yeah. So now that you see my screen, we'll be tackling this series in four different aspects. The mysterious ancient structures that challenge our view of ancient human civilizations. We want to look at the challenging ancient human structures that we seeing all over the place. Okay, then that will be the part one that we'll do now. And on part number two, we'll look at the deluge or the Great Divider, what we call the phenomenon that we call the Younger Dryas today. So I'll explain a little bit more what it means in terms of why do we have so much memory loss about our past history. It's because of the deluge and the Younger Dryas. Three, we'll look at alternative theories about the human origins. We'll be talking about the Sumerian civilization and the Anunnaki's connection. What is this connection with extraterrestrial? Is that really something that is true? Is that a legend? What people are saying about this. Then the latest scientific discoveries, that will be the part four. the latest scientific discoveries shaping our views of who we are. Does our DNA and circadian clock tell us everything about us? And we'll be finishing that with a conclusion. Okay. So now let me pledge something to you. I pledge to you that I will do, I do French and English and French content. So what I'll do, every Tuesday there will be a part that will be released every Tuesday in English, and then every Thursday in French. For those who are following the two content, French and English, I'm not covering exactly in the same way. So for those who, like me, who are speaking the both languages, if you want to tackle the content in French and English, that would be interesting, because you will see a certain level of, difference between the two content. It's just because, in French, I'm elaborating a little bit more, because these subjects are typically the subjects that you see in North America and in Europe. It's not, or Africa. This is not necessarily subjects that are treated, regularly. So let's start with, and as you know, every single time we talk about a specific aspect, you will have the title on the screen. Okay. Now, part one: mysterious ancient structures. In our present, current technologies for building massive sites and massive sites and big buildings exist and used to dig, cut, and lift stones. These man-made machines dwarf their creators and assist where it would require thousands of men to do the job, to do the work, but instead will leverage hydraulic technologies. Without this, modern constructions such as modern skyscrapers and large constructions could never been achieved. However, thousands of years ago, ancient civilization accomplished the impossible to build massively complex monuments and temples that defy any casual explanation of how they were capable of doing this, using massive stones and extremely complex and refined stone carving techniques and technologies that we don't understand today, as you can see on screen. These huge blocks, many weighing over 100 or 200 tons, would be literally something impossible today, even with our modern machinery. And yet, thousands of years ago, people cut blocks out of solid rock, moved them over hundreds of miles, and finally lifted them in place so precisely that it baffles today's observers and engineers. But how could they achieve this? This is really the main question about, ancient structures. How could they have done this, as we are, incapable of doing today? According to mainstream history and archaeology, they cut these massive stones blocks with hammers, chisels, and copper wire. Or were they using ancient technologies that are unknown to today's history? Let's delve into some of them. Okay, first, you know where we'll go. We'll go in Egypt. We have to go to the pyramids. But naturally, yes, we all know about the pyramids, and as these massive monuments of millions of stones, blocks. But at Giza, the pyramids are not the only exceptional monuments. The Valley temples, as you can see on the screen, are also extraordinary. Indeed, the pyramids are exceptional and built with millions of blocks of about 2 or 3 tons each for this temple, which can be compared to the magnitude of the pyramids, are nonetheless built with blocks of 100 and even sometimes 200 tons. So let me, if you can see on the screen, the view of 100 tons is about 100 family cars that would squeeze together to formalize a 100 tons block. The question is then, why would you use 100-ton blocks if you can't exploit them? But in reality, it is because they could use them. They could manipulate them as they wanted. Indeed, if we look at the kind of machinery that is required today to excavate stones from a quarry, it is monumental. As you can see, the kind of machine, this is massive. We find difficult to understand how such monuments could be done at the time of the pharaohs. Was it really in 2500 years before Christ that the pyramids were constructed? How come the Egyptians of today maintain that simple tools such as copper wires, chisel could have been used to construct monuments such as the pyramids and the Valley of Temples? It is now clear that something else was at play here to allow such an ancient civilization to construct such marvelous monuments with blocks that will be for us impossible to move today. An engineering expert, Chris Dunn, has spent several decades to investigate how the Egyptians could achieve these monumental tasks with primitive tools. Against, he argued that Egyptians were way more sophisticated than that. And he wanted to demonstrate this, and he discovered something quite revolutionary but controversial. Indeed, the Giza Plateau is an immense demonstration of impressive feats in terms of architecture and logistics with the Great Pyramid, Khafre's Pyramid, and Menkaur's Pyramid. As for the Great Pyramid alone, 2.5 million blocks of stones were used, meaning that it required some levels of logistics in place and allow an efficient communication between the people excavating the stones and the people on site to tell them exactly what they needed in terms of block size. Now, while searching north of Giza at Rabu Ra'ash, he spotted something interesting: a granite block containing a deep cut, which could potentially be achieved with a saw of 35 feet, about 10.5 meters in height, in diameter. So the tool marks appeared to be everywhere on a number of elements: stone blocks, statues, or ornament of any kind of size, okay, that you see on the video. Now, coming to the mystery of moving mega gigantic stone blocks that could be observed in ancient civilizations. It is not only observable in Egypt. No, indeed, the largest man-made stones in the world are found at the temple of Jupiter at Baalbek in Lebanon. Each of them weighs an estimated 1,000 tons each, or 2 million pounds. An even larger stone was found in a nearby quarry known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, which weighs 1,200 tons. To move it today, it would require the strength of 21 heavy lift cranes in today's, as you can see, in today's world, when we have a construction project equipment moved to the site, in order to do the work. But in these ancient civilization projects, some of the monuments that are built in mountainous areas. So how could they move the machinery to do the heavy lifting? In such a case, even with our own machinery, are heavy to being brought over there. So you need to bring the equipment to the location of the site when you want to do the work. But how could you move such equipment in mountainous areas? It's impossible. It's impossible for us today. It will be impossible for them at the time. Nevertheless, they have made the impossible to create structures and monuments that are impossible to replicate today. As you can see, the stone that you see is very heavy and difficult to move, where an exhibition took place in Palm Springs in US, and they moved the largest stone that could do they could do to this exhibition. There are difficulties just by loading the stone onto the truck, although the stone is only 5 tons, 10,000 pounds. But we're talking with a stone of the pregnant woman, something that that weighs 1,200 tons or 1,000 tons for the temple of Jupiter in Baalbek. So 5 tons is very small in megalithic terms, but close to the maximum we move in with our modern machinery. In such circumstances, we are supposed to swallow that ancient civilization which built the pyramids, Baalbek, Puma Punku didn't have the wheel, the pulley, or even iron, and were using sheer strength to do all this. Doesn't make any sense. To me, what you see on screen doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, it questions another mystery. How would ancient civilization could have done such level of masonry refinement? Master stonemason and sculptor Roger Hopkins used different tools, advanced tools, to cut and shape hard stone. Diamond-tipped wires combined with high-pressured water is used to enable him to fashion works of art using granite blocks obtained from nearby quarries. However, despite these sophisticated tools, Hopkins is unable to replicate what ancient civilization could do 1,000 years ago. Could it be the element proving that they used forgotten technologies or got help from elsewhere? As notified by Mr. Hopkins, it could be somewhat impossible to produce such level of refinement in stone masonry, even if you had the right tools to do it. It takes a vast level of experience to do so at the same time. So you are using machinery, but in order to use them with such level of precision, you need to have a certain level of expertise. Supposedly, ancient civilization, they had neither the expertise or the tools. Proof being that there's no other previous experiences showing the evolution in terms of experience and know-how. But we don't see that. We only see, the temples and the pyramids, which are exceptional. Now let's move to other archaeological sites. Now, Puma Punku is a large temple complex located in the high plateau in Bolivia. Mainstream archaeologists date the site to be approximately 200 years before Christ. The people who constructed the site had apparently no written knowledge and no advanced tool, but they built amongst the most complex structures in the world. The site of Puma Punku is a clear demonstration of the usage of technologies that baffles the mainstream archaeologist. The ruins found at Puma Punku are simply extraordinary. They defy logic. One aspect is that the stones are not only fitting together perfectly as for a Tetris game, which reveal a tremendous level of design or use of machinery as it requires concept of mathematics and geometry far surpassing our own today. Our computer program today even have difficulties to reconcile everything present at Puma Punku. Also, some of the blocks are 40 to 50 tons each, which nothing around to move or bring them, such as trees. So you can cut trees and use them as a way to moving the stone blocks using the trees to roll them. According to Mr. Hopkins and his vast experience in stone masonry, the stone cutting abilities was extremely advanced for ancient civilization and surpassing by far our current capabilities, which is almost unbelievable. The other aspect is the cutting planes are nothing short than very, very impressive. And some of the incised cuts are totally crazy and very hard to do. Even today, with our modern equipment, it will be very hard to get that kind of precision. A last thing before we travel to Peru. Coming to the inside design of the stone blocks, which will require a computer-driven CNC machines, which are typically computer-driven machines which are diamond-tipped, that are equipped with diamond-tipped, equipment to execute a template provided by the computer. But even then, it might not become as perfect as it is now because our equipment are not made with that kind of precision, solid material. More surprisingly, again, is the precision. The edge of the stone cutting incisions are so precise that putting a bit of pressure with the tip of your finger might even cut you. Now, let me ask you, how do you imagine ancient people could have found such level of technologies to realize such feats? It's just simply mind-boggling. Now, let's move to Peru, home of the world's longest mountain range, the Andes, called the spine of the South America. Among the 20,000 feet towering mountain, the Inca civilization established their capital, called Cusco, which existed for 300 years until the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century. Above Cusco, elevated at 12,000 feet, looms the fortress of Sacsayhuaman. This is another vestige of the monumental construction realized by ancient civilization, which features amazing stonework, but the Inca don't claim this work for themselves. And they affirmed that the original site was constructed way back in the past by an earlier unnamed race of people led by a powerful god named Viracocha. According to the legend, who came from the sky with traits unknown for people in this region: tall, white pale skin, long hair. But the question is not about his existence, because his existence is unclear, as it is portrayed as a god or as an extraterrestrial. But the site is not short of clear mystery for its construction, with the smaller stone of these sites are about 20 tons in the site of Sacsayhuaman. Again, you need to remember that today, to move heavy stone, we use heavy machinery. But the Inca didn't have that luxury. But instead, they would use massive human workforces working for endless hours. It is estimated that to move 1 ton, you need between 10 to 20 men. So to move the stones of Sacsayhuaman with blocks up to 100 to 150 tons, you would need thousands of men. We also need to appreciate something, that for this civilization to achieve this, they needed to have the technology to quarry massive stone blocks, move them in place where they wanted them, stack them up, and and put them in place as they fit perfectly. As you can see on the screen, these massive blocks, as they fit perfectly, as if they were molded into place. Some of these stones are made of granite, composed of feldspar, mica, and quartz. Almost the hardest stones on the planet, which require diamond-tipped equipment to abrade or to cut them. Even for modern technology civilizations such as ours, it is literally deemed an impossible task to realize what they did. But somehow they managed to do it against all odds. How is the million diamond question? Can we really believe that they used the tools of the ancient toolbox as Egyptians were moving in the same, we supposedly using, with the same astonishing results? Doesn't make any bloody sense to me. Before we finish, on this part one, with additional examples such as Göbekli Tepe, against the marvel of marvels with the pyramids of Giza, the mysterious black boxes of Saqqara. Let's go back for a few minutes in Puma Punku, which is to me an unparalleled demonstration of a known technology at play there. First, as you can see, the stone blocks measure about 26 feet in length and weighs more than 100 tons each. Massive stones. But at an altitude of 30,000 feet in Altiplano, trees don't grow there. So how could ancient civilization brought these gigantic blocks of stones? That's one element. The material, as said before, is granite based, hardest rock on the planet. But all the blocks are scattered all over the place, as if some giant cataclysm wiped out the entire area, totally surreal. But there's an explanation. It's the Younger Dryas, the deluge. But I will come to that in the part 2. Mainstream scientists lawfully thought that the site was created with primitive tools, but the evidence shows that very, very advanced precision technology negate that view. Couple of examples: the angle of stone cutting are very precise, at 90 degrees to form a right angle. Precise corner is one thing, but you also have very difficult drill holes that are traversing granite rocks that suggest the use of modern technology than primitive tools. But how can this be 20 to 25,000 years ago? There's something that is not quite right. Some alternate thinkers believe some help from some otherworldly origins, extraterrestrials. The intricate stone design clearly suggests advanced, tooling and precise measurement, and even laser cut technology. An analysis of Puma Punku suggests an advanced level of planning, logistics, and access to advanced technology. Sometimes even small drill holes are not even performed erratically, but with the precision of machinery where power tools have been used and all the stones have been vitrified, making the surface as smooth as a kitchen top. So if machinery was used, where is the proof? Well, the proof lies into this. Analysis and tests were made to analyze the difference between laser cut technology of today, modern diamond saw using of today, compared to the original Puma Punku cut style. Using microscopic examination, Chris Dunn observed the different cutting techniques. Even though age and erosion have attacked the original Puma Punku cut, the analysis revealed distinct differences. Laser cut demonstrates some level of vitrification due to the level of heat exerted on the rock. Diamond saw put some circular tool marks, but the original Puma Punku cut showed some different technologies was used. Some level of vitrification is seen and erosion as well. Nonetheless, there's a different level of technology that was used. It was not laser cut technology, neither diamond saw. Now I can name, you can see a number of other sites. Göbekli Tepe, the world's first temple. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dating back to 9000 BC, stands as one of the most perplexing archaeological sites. This complex features at least 20 circular installations, 200 T-shaped pillars, some weighing over 60 tons, intricate animal carvings, including foxes, snakes, and wild boars. The sophistication of Göbekli Tepe raises questions about the capabilities of prehistoric humans as it predates pottery, metallurgy, and even agriculture. Now, the Great Pyramid of Giza, an engineering marvel, built around 2560 BC, supposedly, and I will provide some additional views about this on part number 2. The Great Pyramid continues to astound us, with its precision. Its base is level to within 2.5 centimeter. Its sides are aligned with cardinal directions with an accuracy of up to 0.06 degrees. These feats of engineering seem almost impossible given the supposed technological limitation of the time. As I said, Puma Punku, precision in stone, part of the temple complex in Bolivia. Puma Punku features incredible precision stonework. Massive stones with the largest weighing approximately 131 tons, cut and shaped with the level of accuracy challenging to achieve even with modern technologies today. Estimated to be built around 536 or 600 before Christ, but some people are saying it is much, much older, something close to 20,000 years before Christ, so much older, due to alternate views about this. And it questions the transportation and precise cutting of these massive stones remain unexplained today. The mysterious black boxes of Saqqara near the pyramid of Djoser in Egypt, 24 coffin-shaped black boxes present another enigma. Made of solid Aswan granite, extremely hard to work with, each box weighing over 100 tons with 30 tons lids. So you have the lids on top, that is the lids on top. Only it's 30 tons. Engineering to be airtight with remarkable precision, the purpose of method of construction for this box remain unknown, leading to various theories about their origins. These structures challenge our understanding of Asian capabilities and technological advancements as to move these blocks and the lids and the black box is close to impossible. As we continue to study them, we remain open to new interpretations that might reshape our view of human history. Just to finish on the part one, now as a conclusion. As we've explored these remarkable ancient structures, from the precision cut stones of Puma Punku to the megalithic wonders of Sacsayhuaman, the mind-boggling antiquity of Göbekli Tepe, the engineering marvels of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the enigmatic black boxes of Saqqara, we're left with more questions than answers. These sites challenge our conventional understanding of ancient capabilities in several ways. First of all, technological sophistication. The level of precision in stonework, particularly at Puma Punku and Sacsayhuaman, suggests advanced technologies were used, and we struggle to understand or to explain within the accepted historical timeline. Doesn't make any sense, and we'll see that in part number 2. Engineering prowess. The Great Pyramid's construction and the transportation of massive stone at various sites demonstrate engineering skills that seem beyond the time, or their ability of the time, supposed ability, but our ability today. Today, we would be impossible to do such a task. Antiquity versus complexity. Göbekli Tepe's existence pushes back the timeline of complex societal organization by thousands of years, forcing us to reconsider the pace of human development. Unexplained purposes. The function of structures like the black boxes of Saqqara remains a mystery, hinting at purposes or knowledge lost in time. These enigmatic structures compel us to question not just how they were built, but why. They suggest that our ancestors may have possessed knowledge and capabilities far beyond what mainstream history acknowledges, and perhaps different level of technologies that surpasses our own today. As we continue to study these sites, we may remain open to the possibility that the history of human civilization is far more complex and potentially more advanced than what we've been led to believe and led to accept as well. In the next part of the series, we'll delve deeper into the theories surrounding these structures and explore what they might tell us about our true origins. The quest for understanding our past continues, and with each discovery, we are inch closer to unraveling the mysteries of the origins of humanity. I hope you liked it, because I really enjoyed making the research. And but this is a subject I knew for quite some time, so doing the research was not really that difficult, but it was interesting to create the script and the approach. So I hope you liked it, and then I'll see you in part number 2. Okay, thanks. And if you see some value in what you say, in what you're saying, please press the like button. That will be much appreciated. Put some comments in, and also subscribe to the channel. That will be my pleasure to see you joining. Okay, thank you. See you very soon on part number 2 next week, Tuesday.